looks like we're getting started here. Sorry about that. Had to make sure everything was all connected. So as of right now, we have thunderstorm activity pretty quickly increasing across, especially southern Illinois, but now central Illinois too. And you see this red box outlined here. If I could make this a little bigger, this big red box, that is a tornado watch in effect here. That includes basically along and south of I-72 in central and southern Illinois, and that is in effect until midnight tonight. And also not just tornadoes that we're looking for, but very large hail is also a threat. Much like what we've seen in some of the stronger storms so far today. But the most concerning thing right now is this storm that is over the St. Louis metro area, now over like the northern side here, about to cross the Mississippi River into southwestern Illinois here. There was I was going to say, I think I'm going to turn on reports here and see if we have any. Not seeing any new reports here. We do have a lot of hail reports with this storm here. Let me see in the warning here. So radar indicated, so this is not on the ground as of right now. I'm going to switch to velocity here too. So it's kind of hard to make out here, but if you look right here, you can see that little notch right in there. And that's where you have the area of rotation right over Cool Valley here, moving off to the east here towards Jennings, and eventually it'll be crossing the Mississippi River into Illinois here very shortly. And this storm is moving very quickly too. All these storms are moving pretty fast. I believe they have this one at 50 miles an hour. Let's see. I believe they have this one at 50 miles an hour. Oh no, this one's only moving at 20. But generally these storms are moving off to the east very quick here, off to the east-northeast. This one here, since it's developed an area of rotation, it's kind of developed its own movement more to the east, while the other storms are moving more northeasterly. And you can see if we look on the right side here, this is a velocity. This shows where storms are rotating, or where storms are rotating, and it also can help us determine if there's strong wind signatures within storms too. You can see a few minutes ago we did have a little bit of a couplet here. It's kind of messy because it's close to the radar and there's a lot of ground clutter, but you can see where those red and green colors touch kind of a couplet. You can see a little better here, right in there. That's where the tornado warning initially was issued. And I believe we had at least a funnel cloud report. I'm trying to get caught up and see if we had a report of anything on the ground. No. So again, right now, just radar indicated rotation as this moves towards Ferguson, towards the Mississippi River, into southern Illinois. It looks like they just issued another severe thunderstorm warning, so that might mean that this is not as tornadic as it was a little while ago. Let's move north a little bit here and look at what's going on over northern Illinois, as we have a lot of new thunderstorms developing over the last hour or so. And these are non-severe as of right now, but what they are producing is at least small hail. You can see this one storm here in particular moving right towards O'Hare. That might be a hail producer. That might be a problem for the airport here in the next few minutes. You can see it's right over Bloomingdale right now. We just had a couple hail reports come in here. Small, looks like pea-sized, someone reported dime-sized hail here. So that's almost, if that's true, that's almost severe. So I wouldn't be surprised if they issue at least a special weather statement for this one, as it moves right over O'Hare here in the next few minutes. So if you're in Bensonville, Itasca, Addison, or Rosemont in the O'Hare area, expect at least some small hail here in the next 10 to 15 minutes. And really any of these storms here that you see that are a little taller, where you have these little spikes and reflectivity, like especially this one here, like I just pointed out, maybe this one here heading towards Aurora, definitely at least some small hail. Not looking at anything too significant across northern Illinois, as those storms down south that we were just looking at are robbing a lot of our instability. So we're not expecting anything, especially we're not expecting anything on the tornado side of things across northern Illinois for sure tonight. There is a tornado threat, of course, across really along and south of I-72. like I was talking about. But northern Illinois, this is really just a heavy rain. You'll definitely see quite a bit of lightning and some small hail. And maybe in some isolated instances, some larger hail up to near an inch. You can see the storm has had a history of producing hail all the way from central Kane County over here across St. Charles, and now it's over, like I said, Bloomingdale, heading towards Itasca, and going to go right over the airport here. So if there is hail with that, that'll cause a bit of a issue there at the airport here in a minute. And then again, looking out towards Iowa here, we have these cells continuing to develop here, and this will kind of be the theme over the next several hours through at least midnight. We'll have these scattered showers and thunderstorms on and off. Heavy downpours is really the main Oh. Whoops. Sorry, I just realized I don't know why that wasn't showing up there. Well, hopefully that's working now. Alright, sorry about that. I don't know why that wasn't showing up on the stream there. That's odd. Hopefully it wasn't doing that for the whole time I've been talking so far. That would kind of be sad if it was. But anyway, we have it working now for sure. Again, if there was nothing showing up on the screen, I apologize. I just saw that it stopped displaying for some reason. But anyway, in case you couldn't see what I was just talking about, we have this at least small hail producing storm right over Bensonville, over O'Hare now here. We have another report that just came in over Wooddale here of pea-size hail, it looks like. So definitely quite a bit of small hail here, and you can see here the storm over West Chicago to Wheaton. Might be some small hail in there too. This one right along 88 might be some small hail in one of those cores. And then we also had some hail over Will County here over the last half hour or so with that cluster there. And again, like I said, even more of an issue than the hail is these are very heavy rain producers, torrential downpours. So, roads will quickly become quite slick, and, some low-lying flooding from all the rain we've had over the last few days. And zooming out here, this is going to kind of continue over the next several hours, as I was saying. Again, really not looking at too significant of a severe threat over northern Illinois. I would say, definitely expect, like I said, loud thunder, lightning, kind of like what we've seen over the past few days, and small hail and any stronger storms too. And maybe even some gusty winds, but really, our temperatures are in the mid to low 40s across northern Illinois, so we're not looking at nearly as nearly as intense of storms as we see here across central Illinois and southern Illinois. You can see here, these are really starting to kind of beef up here over the last hour over Taylorville. It looks like we have a heavy rain report here of 1.5 inches. This was at 6:30 here, so they're just they've probably had 2 to 3 inches here. You can see a flash flood warning is in effect for, let's see what counties this is, for Southern Christian County here in central Illinois. And you can see how these storms are just developing and not really moving much at all. Right along this corridor here, south of Springfield and Decatur, but St. Louis, just south of that I-72 corridor, you have storms developing and just sitting. And one thing I will say is that the tornado risk might actually lessen the tornado risk as these storms are kind of just in a big cluster. You can see we do have one severe thunderstorm warning in effect for 13 more minutes. That's over Taylorville, moving northeast here. That's for southeastern Christian County. And that is for just 60-mile-an-hour winds and quarter-size hail. So not seeing any rotation here with any of these storms across central Illinois right now. They've taken a while to organize, and now that they have, they're really kind of clustered together. And definitely some hail producers. New warning just came up here. Severe thunderstorm warning here for northern Moultrie County, north central Shelby County, and southeastern Macon County until 7 o'clock. Ping pong ball size hail and 60-mile-an-hour winds. So that is 1.5 inches in diameter hail. That is pretty large. And you can see anywhere you see these pink colors here, in particular this one moving from like Bethany over to Lovington, that's where you have definitely some hail in there. Let me switch radar products here, and we can see how I have a better one actually. If I can find it. Shows, but this helps us see where hail might be occurring. Oh, here we go. Where hail might, oh no, that's not better. The other one was better. Where hail might be occurring within a thunderstorm, where we have these pink colors here, and that's probably what prompted the severe thunderstorm warning. Where you have those pink colors, that's where you might have some large hail, again, moving right towards Bethany to Lovington here in central Illinois. And then here's another little hail core here, probably non-severe hail, between a ½ inch to maybe an inch in diameter here. And then another one here near Assumption, probably some small hail within this whole storm here, moving out of Taylorville with this other severe thunderstorm warning. And then again, the strongest storm is this one over St. Louis, this northern St. Louis metro area that's moving into southern Illinois. There is still that tornado warning in effect, but it's moving out of the tornado warning. So we do still have that little notch right there where there definitely is some rotation still ongoing. But as of right now, they haven't reissued a new tornado warning further east along 270 here. As this crosses into Illinois. So that's good news. We'll continue to watch that though. But if any storm does produce tornadoes, it would likely be one of this storm here along I-70 as it moves east across southern Illinois. So that's something to watch here. But these storms here closer to the I-72 corridor are more of a big cluster, producing heavy rain and embedded hail, and might even have some gusty winds. We can look at velocity here. You can see you might have some areas of wind here where you see these red colors, brighter red colors in the severe warning. So this is definitely a stronger storm over Bethany there, moving kind of east-southeast. And like I said, those pink colors indicate, hail, and then on the right here, this shows us wind speeds within the storm, essentially, and you can see some stronger winds trying to gust out ahead of that there. Something else here, I guess, along, let me pause it, along the southern edge of any storms that develop, we will have to watch for any little area of rotation that might develop. I'm not saying this is looking imminent right now here, just north of Tower Hill, but anything that develops that might try to clear itself out on the southern end a little bit, that's where you get areas of rotation here on the southern end of this line here. So that's what we'll have to watch for across central Illinois. And then we kind of have a break here. We have this area of lighter rain. I'll switch back to the big radar here. We have this area of light to moderate rain across central Illinois from Bloomington on east. That's been going on for the last few hours, but not even any lightning in there, which is good news for some of these areas that have seen quite a bit of rain over the last few days. But other areas actually, especially across east central Illinois, have kind of missed out on quite a bit of the rain and storms over the last week or so, even before that. So, hopefully this will fill in a little further north here. For some of these areas that probably want some of this rain, but a lot of areas have seen quite a bit of rain, especially across west central, and northern Illinois. So again, moving back up here, it looks like the storm we were talking about moved right over the airport. You can see the heaviest part of it is right over the airport here. If we switch to that little hail tool, I guess, that we use, you can see how it was was at its peak here over Bloomingdale, and then it's kind of weakened a little bit as it's moved over the airport. So probably maybe some small hail still in the core of it as it moves over Rosemont, right where that little pink center is there over the north side of O'Hare. But as that moves eastward towards Lincolnwood, still watch out for some small hail. And again, in any of these little showers or storms that develop anywhere that you get one of those little cores of red or pink, that's where you might have some hail. So zooming out a little bit here. All right, see some folks asking about the central Illinois area. So Springfield here, if you're in the Springfield area, you're kind of in between areas of storms, or areas of rain, I guess, right now. You have this area of strong to severe storms just south of you here, in the Taylorville, down towards St. Louis, over towards Mount Zion, over towards south of Champaign here. But this is really not moving much, and even though the individual storms themselves are moving to the northeast, the whole line is kind of pushing out an area of rain-cooled air, and that'll probably cause storms to continue to slowly develop to the south and east over the next few hours. Still, storms are definitely possible in the Springfield area here, but as far as severe weather goes, north of this ongoing line of storms, it might not be too high of a risk, at least over the next hour or two. We'll have to see what happens as these clusters here over Missouri push northeast. Those might kind of renew the severe threat, at least temporarily here, as see this area here over Montgomery City, west of St. Louis, these storms here. What's most likely will happen is this will kind of continue northeast and kind of form a big cluster of rain and storms. That'll fill into the Springfield area and be kind of a thundery, heavy rain mess. But as far as severe goes, really the area that we're most concerned about is the St. Louis metro area, and then where storms are ongoing and kind of this area south of it. That's where the atmosphere is more untouched, and there's a little more instability to work with. But north of that, you're kind of having a lot of rain, a lot of rain-cooled air pushing out of this cluster of storms here over central Illinois. So the severe threat would probably slowly shift south and east over the next several hours here, but that's not to say that can't see a embedded severe storm in the Springfield to Chatham area. But right now, definitely more of a rainy, thundery type situation. But as you get just south of that area, you have definitely a wind and hail risk, and then just south of there towards the I-70 corridor, more of a tornado risk as well. Also, all kinds of severe weather, damaging wind, large hail, and tornadoes are possible along the I-70 corridor over the next several hours. But again, the tornado watch goes right along really I-72 here on south. And again, this kind of little gap here that includes Springfield up to Champaign, where there's rain to the north and storms to the south. Like I said, I think that'll fill in over the next few hours, but it doesn't really scream a widespread severe risk in the Springfield area. As this kind of fills in more of a heavy rain risk for sure. And some of these areas here, I think the biggest risk across central Illinois might be the flash flooding risk over some of these areas that are seeing these repeated storms here, especially like Taylorville, just south and east of there especially. Probably 2 to 3 inches of rain has fallen in the past couple hours in some of those areas here. Actually, we can switch to, let's see, storm total rain here, if it'll load. Maybe. I don't think it wants to. Okay. Let's see if this one does. Okay, yeah, this is a good indication. Okay, so it kind of resets in the middle there, which is annoying. But you can see how some of these, yeah, it's annoying. It resets in the middle, but you can see how radar is estimating, I'm going to pause it here so we can get a better indication. Radar, yeah, so 2 to 3 inches here across some of these heavier cores across central Illinois, and then again the northern St. Louis area where we have had some reports of flooding, northwestern St. Louis metro into the suburbs there. So these storms are capable of producing rainfall rates of 1 to 2 inches per hour for sure as they pass over. So definitely flooding. And then across central Illinois, again, we have this big area of rain here with maybe some embedded lightning, not seeing any showing up here right now. But definitely some rain, moderate to even at times heavy rain. And then across northern Illinois, we have these what we call elevated storms developing, which means they are not, that means the instability for them is very far displaced from the surface. It's very high up. So that means that there is no, tornado risk or really any damaging wind risk either across northern Illinois. Just a small hail risk for the most part. I see someone said hail in Bloomingdale. That makes sense. It looks like that storm just went over, and now there's some more actually in this area here. So DuPage County is probably getting the most hail right now. Small hail, like I said. Most of it is under an inch in diameter. All of it really so far has been under an inch. You can see the storm just southeast of Wheaton. And each one of these little circle reports here, that's somebody that has reported hail. So small hail, all of them are really pea size. We had one dime size report over Bloomingdale, which made sense as that storm was stronger. But that storm now is over Lincolnwood, over the far north side of the city almost here. You can still see where that hail is likely falling right over Lincolnwood here as it moves east, and it'll eventually move out over the lake. But south of Evanston, but from onto the far north side of Chicago here, expect some small hail over the next 10 minutes or so before the storm races out over the lake. And again, just kind of looking at the big picture as I kind of put it into motion, there's just a lot of these little spotty showers and storms. You can see some of those lightning strikes appearing and disappearing. I mean, that's kind of going to be the theme over the next, at least 2 hours or so before overnight tonight we lose that instability, and it'll just be more of a shower risk instead of these embedded thunderstorms with hail. And then again, we have another gap in the action here between between the Bloomington to Peoria area, now into Livingston County, into south of I-80 really. And we do expect activity to fill back in from south to north here as this activity across central and southern Illinois will take over over the next several hours here. So again, this is really just kind of a big rainy mess right now. The one severe warning that we do see here is again this severe thunderstorm warning across Shelby, excuse me, across central Illinois here till 7:30. Right near the storm was right near Bethany the last time we were talking about it. Now the largest hail is probably over Lovington. There was a bit of a damaging wind risk with this storm too, as the air is a lot warmer across central and southern Illinois. There's a warm front in the middle here. I'm not sure of its exact location right now, but it's really probably just north of where this tornado watch is located. And these storms are developing just south of it, probably right along or just south of it here. And then north of the warm front, it is much cooler in the 40s and 50s here across parts of central and northern Illinois. And then you're in the 50s and 60s across the other part of central and southern Illinois. So kind of divided here, and that's why we have all this unsettled weather, is because we have this warm air from the south trying to feed over top of this front we have here. We have this cold air kind of pushing back. We have chilly northeast winds across coming off Lake Michigan here. And it's cold even though we have these storms, but that's because we have this warm air pushing over top of this cold air mass, and that's why we have these storms continuing to develop across northern Illinois. It's just that elevated, high up instability from that warm air pushing over top of the cooler air at the surface. So that's what's going on. I am going to see if we have any new reports here real quick. So again, if we are worried about any tornado risk, it's with the storm that's ongoing out of the St. Louis area here. I'm reading right now something that they just put out, the National Weather Service in St. Louis just put out. Another thing is I'm seeing that there was a 2-inch hail report with this storm here. I'm going to try to find the report. That's just an inch. But one of these hail, you see there's a ton of them. Probably they got almost 100 of them just in a short time here. But there was a 2-inch hail report somewhere in here, northwest of St. Louis with this storm as it went through. Now this is in the Edwardsville area. So again, if there is going to be any tornado risk tonight, it'll be along the I-70 corridor here over the next several hours. And this storm right now, this is a ongoing supercell that's tracked all the way from near Washington, Missouri, and through the northwest St. Louis area. Now it's kind of paralleling I-70 just on the north side. So if you're in Effingham, I would definitely keep a close eye on this. There is a warm front in the area, like I said, and there's a lot of wind shear and a lot of spin available. So if there is a tornado risk, it would likely be with this storm here as it moves along the I-70 corridor, or any other storm that develops kind of separated from this larger cluster here over central Illinois. Oh, excuse me. All right, so I'm just going to refresh the comments here. See what's going on, if I'm getting any new reports. So again, they are watching this. Yeah, so again, they are watching that storm here moving out of the St. Louis area that I was talking about for a lingering tornado risk. It's definitely weakened from what it was before. It was looking a little bit scarier about a half hour or so ago when I first started the stream, and there was a report of some wind damage. Somebody said it might have been a brief tornado, but not seeing that confirmed right now. That was in Missouri, but now it's crossed into Illinois. Just barely here. It's just across the river. So definitely some very large hail still with this storm. But again, looking at velocity here, this shows us if a storm is rotating or not, and not really seeing too much of a couplet here at all. So that's why there is no tornado warning in effect for this storm anymore. Just a severe thunderstorm warning. Let's see how large the hail is. Ping pong ball size hail. So yes, so as this moves east here, it's going to just scrape north of Edwardsville, but towards Hamel, eventually towards the Effingham area here in a few hours. It might be more of a congealed cluster by then with the rest of this stuff over central Illinois, but we'll have to watch any storms on the southern end here along the I-70 corridor for a tornado threat. But this stuff here across central Illinois is really just a big thundery mess. Like I said, right now we have a new flash flood warning here, it looks like, for southeastern Macon County, Moultrie County, and and then northwestern Shelby. So kind of the same area that's been getting these storms here. You can see the text reads, radar indicated thunderstorms producing heavy rain. Yes, between 1 and 2 inches have already fallen. 1 to 2 inches in 45 minutes. So again, I already said 1 to 2 inches per hour rate with these storms here. So they're expecting, another 1 to 3 inches, they say here. So you do the math, and that's really anywhere from 2 to 5 inches of rain in a very short amount of time. Definitely going to cause some pretty significant flooding here, where you see these storms are just really not moving. And part of that is because the storms themselves are moving to the northeast. If you look at, one of the individual cores, you can see them trying to move northeast. But as these storms push out rain-cooled air, it's pushing a bit of a boundary south here. You can kind of see how storms are, redeveloping further south, and that causes these storms to go over the same areas for hours and hours and cause very heavy rain. So definitely a pretty significant flooding risk here just south of Springfield. And again, if you're in the Springfield area, expect rain and thunder activity to gradually increase over the next few hours, but the main severe risk is really just south of the Springfield area here. I would really say any significant severe threat should remain south of the I-72 corridor, and the tornado risk will probably be located closer to the I-70 corridor here in southern Illinois. And eventually, this whole system will push south and east, and the severe risk will increase further into southern Illinois later tonight and overnight. So again, checking back on our little hailstorms here across northern Illinois. Not seeing anything too new, just kind of the same thing. Most of these are showers as of right now. Again, there is some lightning in there still for sure, some hail and heavy rain, and just seeing if we're getting any new reports or anything new here. Not seeing anything right now. Alright, so this was I did have a camera over the St. Louis airport a little while ago, a live camera, but nothing really going on with it anymore. Reading some comments now. Oh wow, see, someone said the power was out in southeastern Will, it looks like. Yeah, that was probably with this big cluster that went through here. A lot of lightning was with that. You can see all those lightning strikes kind of flare up there as it went over southeastern Will. So definitely, I believe that probably hit a transformer or power line or something. Very heavy rain, like I said, in these storms. Seeing some questions about the Champaign area. So the Champaign area is kind of in between right now. So really not much going on. A lot of the activity is just south. If you're in the Champaign area, I would expect, again, rain and thunderstorm activity to increase over the next few hours. But again, that severe risk is really just south right now. But I would watch out for that severe risk tomorrow, too, in the Champaign area. It really looks like that area and eastward, the I-57 corridor on eastward into Indiana, there might be a pretty significant severe risk tomorrow, potentially, depending on how things go overnight tonight with these storms, how fast they clear out, and where the warm front and this whole system as a whole ends up. So we'll keep a close eye on that. But as of right now, the severe risk is south of Champaign. Again, we will have to watch to see how these storms move over the next few hours. They're trying to move north and east, but as they do so, they're pushing out a lot of that rain-cooled air, so they're kind of remaining below severe limits. But if anything, definitely, there is definitely a hail risk. The storm here south of Champaign, in between Camargo and Villa Grove, has just flared up here. Definitely some large hail in there. And that's kind of the thing we're going to be watching for here, is these hail cores over tonight across most of central Illinois. But then again, this tornado risk is greater here where there's not much going on right now, where the atmosphere is more undisturbed here across parts of south central and the southern Illinois. So Champaign, I wouldn't say that, I wouldn't say the severe risk is zero tonight. I definitely wouldn't say that, but I would say that that hail is definitely the primary risk tonight, if anything. But most of the activity looks to be just south of the Champaign area to Springfield as well, just south of there. But again, still expect, thunderstorms tonight, heavy rain most of the night, on and off for sure. But the really intense stuff will probably remain south of I-70, south of the I-72 corridor, closer to the I-70 corridor. And again, the further south you go, the greater the tornado risk is. So I'm going to switch gears a little bit here and look at kind of what we're expecting throughout the night tonight. Let's see if I can get this pulled up. So I'm going to move that over there. All right, so here we are. This is a model that updates every hour, so it gives us usually an okay idea at kind of what's the short term. Geez, I can't speak. The short term, I guess, trend is. So if we move over the next few hours, like I said, you can really see how that activity kind of just increases across central Illinois and kind of blobs up, I guess, if that makes sense. Kind of like what we've been seeing into a big cluster. And these little black outlines there, that's where the model is indicating really strong to severe storms. And again, you can see how that is close to where it is happening now and just south. And then if we move through the night, that activity kind of moves over the same areas for a few hours, and then eventually it kind of shifts southward this is midnight right here. So by midnight, a lot of moderate to heavy rain across central Illinois, embedded thunderstorms for sure, but that severe risk will probably be closer to the I-70 corridor, like I said. Again, not to say that there can't be some big hailstorms further north towards the Champaign to Springfield area, especially embedded within the larger area of showers and thunderstorms. But that more intense severe risk is probably going to be closer to the I-70 corridor across south central to southern Illinois, east of the St. Louis metro area. We move through the night, more activity in the southern Illinois throughout the night. And then as we get into the morning, we clear out a little bit, and this is as the main system comes through. And then you can see right here this kind of line swinging through the St. Louis area mid-morning tomorrow. That is where that is the cold front, and as this moves northeast, we'll have to watch very closely for that tornado risk across far eastern Illinois, east central Illinois, into Indiana and Ohio. So I'm going to step back from this run a few hours ago, and this brings us into tomorrow. So you can see here, this is around noon. This has it developing just southeast of Champaign, but it has this area here of very unstable, dynamic, I can't speak. This area of very unstable air and dynamic wind shear profiles, so there'd definitely be a tornado risk. Champaign's right here. This would be just southeast of Champaign, and then that quickly shifts into Indiana and then Ohio. While across northern Illinois, it's going to be another very rainy day, and then eventually we'll see that switch to snow. So talking about tornadoes and snow here in the same day across 100-mile difference. So again, as we move throughout the day tomorrow, you can see how that switches over to some snow, and then eventually Wednesday, more snow for northern Illinois as that low pressure kind of sits and spins for a little while. I'll take a look at another model here to get another idea. So this is another one that came out a couple hours ago. So see how it has that cluster that's currently going on across central Illinois, kind of continuing across the same area. So again, I'm very concerned about the flooding risk more than anything else across areas that are seeing that very heavy rain right now. But again, severe risk will be ongoing across really south of I-72, closer to the I-74 corridor. Or I'm sorry, not I-74, closer to the I-70 corridor. The I-74 corridor is quieter tonight, just showers and embedded storms. Again, I saw someone asking about Peoria. It looks like it's just going to be another rainy night in Peoria. Nothing really to worry about. Some thunder maybe, but really not even seeing much of a hail risk. Maybe if some stronger storms make it up there. But again, very concerned about flash flooding here in this area that is currently seeing heavy rain right now, as this will likely continue for many, many hours through the overnight hours. You can see some areas see over 5 inches of rain tonight, easily, I would say. Which doesn't happen often, especially this early in the season. But we have a very moist air mass overhead, so these storms are very efficient rain producers here. So if you know anybody in this central Illinois area, again, really between I-72 to I-70, you might want to help them. You might want to help them bail out their basements tomorrow, because they might need it. Definitely some heavy rain. Again, not everybody too, but really especially this area that's been seeing storms ongoing. Just south of it, that'll continue to, storms will continue to fill in just south of this here, as they have been over since I even just started this stream. But these green boxes here, you can see 2 of them next to each other, flash flood warnings. But we have all sorts of things going on as far as heavy rain and hail. But right now, actually, now that I zoom out, we have no severe thunderstorm or tornado warnings in effect for anywhere across the state. The supercell that we were talking about that moved through the St. Louis area has really weakened a lot, and now it's kind of just lost its supercell characteristics. It might not even be producing much hail anymore. It's weakened a lot. So that's good news, because we were concerned about that I-70 corridor, but kind of surprisingly, this storm has weakened and fallen apart. We will have to watch this storm here as it moves northwest of St. Louis, but this whole area here is it's kind of stabilized at this point, as these storms, this last storm that moved over, pushed out a lot of that rain-cooled air. So I wouldn't be surprised if even this storm starts to fall apart. It even looks like it might be doing that already a little bit. So that would be good news, as that would kind of lessen the tornado risk. That would, those really were the storms we were watching for any tornado risk here. And all these storms right now are just a big cluster, like I said. No tornado risk right now with any of these, as there is just too much going on. Too many, new cells developing. There's, a lot of rain-cooled air getting pushed out of these. And then again, you have that break here from Champaign to Springfield, but that is starting to fill in here with rain, and I would expect that to continue. I wouldn't be too concerned about severe. If anything, some hail again across the Champaign to Springfield area along that I-72 corridor. But the damaging wind and tornado risk will probably be south of I-72 tonight, especially closer to the I-70 corridor. And we really expect storms to just really continue to pound the same areas here for many hours tonight, in kind of this area I circled poorly, but that area is really going to be under the gun for heavy thunderstorms tonight, and again, severe weather, especially closer to the I-70 corridor. Areas that it's not storming right now, just near and north of the I-70 corridor, you're still going to be in for a very loud night. But as you move north of this current cluster, again, the severe risk is lower, just because we don't have that instability. Still, again, hail and frequent lightning as this kind of organizes and rain pushes north. And then again, across northern Illinois, we still have these little elevated showers developing. Activity is kind of decreasing a little bit now, and these are mostly just showers. But still, you can see all these little circles. Those are hail reports from the last few hours, or the last hour, I should say. It looks like we had one here, and yeah, this was just east here of the Illinois-Indiana border for just pea-size hail. So again, really not a big deal. Heavy downpours, but again, activity is kind of decreasing right now across northern Illinois. And then if we look out towards Iowa, we do expect things to kind of fill in. This area of stratiform rain will probably continue to fill in and push east-northeast, reach to along and south of I-88, and it'll just kind of be another showery, sprinkly night. No really severe risk across northern Illinois. Really north of the 72 corridor, we're not really seeing much of a severe risk anymore, as any outside of some hail. But again, that severe risk tonight will reside closer to the I-70 corridor. Yeah, no, the snow talk is not an April Fool's joke, sadly. It's going to actually happen. It's kind of hard to believe, but we do still get snow in April. It's not totally uncommon. Alright, so again, I'm going to just move this into view of the St. Louis area. So again, if we're really looking for any severe risk here over the next few hours, it'll be across this I-70 corridor as storms continue here. But right now, everything is non-severe. Still some hail, but again, really heavy rain is the main thing that we're looking out for. Just going to be just another showery night across the northern half of the state, while thunderstorms and some embedded severe thunderstorms across central and southern Illinois tonight. So I'm going to go back to talking about a little bit about tomorrow here. Alright, let me switch here. I'm going to put up our severe risk for tomorrow here. Alright. No, actually, this is a picture from Adam here. He's down in Texas. A lot of you guys know Adam. He's one of the owners of our page, and he's down in Texas chasing some of these storms. Again, this whole system is there's severe storms all the way up from Illinois down to Texas, really. So I'm going to go back and find our severe risk for tomorrow. Alright, so again, this is for the rest of tonight here. This has not been updated yet, but this probably could be shifted south quite a bit. Really, again, south of Champaign to Springfield for severe weather tonight. And then again for tomorrow, really, again, along and east of that I-57 corridor into Indiana there. We'll probably have to add a level 3 risk area along and east here, along the Illinois-Indiana border here, as it does seem like there could be a pretty potent tornado risk here. Either, again, far eastern Illinois or in Indiana. But again, northern Illinois, no real severe risk tomorrow. Might be still some embedded thunder, but we're going to be switching gears to thinking about snow. And this is our current snow forecast, actually. We have a pretty big area here. We'll likely see an inch or less, dusting, or less. It'll be hard for this to accumulate, obviously, as it's April and it's been warm. And a lot of this will be happening during the day. So it won't, it'll take a little more for it to stick. So that's, good news at least. But a pretty big area will definitely see flakes flying. Really, pretty much the entire northern half of the state will see at least flurries to snow showers. But northern Illinois, it'll probably snow hard for at least a little while. When it first switches over Tuesday evening tomorrow, and then it'll be snowing on and off throughout the day Wednesday. But actually, some notable accumulations are possible across far northern Illinois into southern Wisconsin. We even have that area 4 to 7 here across southern Wisconsin. So definitely some accumulation is expected. It'll be slushy and it'll be melting. But we're still expecting some of this to accumulate for sure. I'm going to pull up another look at what might happen as this changes to snow here. So again, this is tomorrow afternoon, mid to late afternoon. You can see how that rain snow line starts to push through far northern Illinois, but we're really expecting the most of the snow to fall on Wednesday. Wednesday morning we'll wake up to pretty much widespread light snow. And there might be a dusting in a lot of spots too. It'll probably be melting throughout the day, but continuing for at least far northeastern Illinois all the way until Thursday morning, as this low pressure really isn't going to move very quick. I'll take a look at another forecast model here. It gives a little bit of a longer look at what's going to happen, but see how as the low kind of pushes through tomorrow morning, we get another push of heavy rain. Moderate to heavy rain, I should say, and then as that switches to snow, that low just kind of sits over Michigan, and that kind of keeps snow showers lingering for a couple days. So it's going to be a cold, rather unpleasant couple of days. And if we look at kind of what this model is forecasting as far as accumulation, you can see how most of it's going to be just north of the Illinois-Wisconsin border. So that's good news, at least, but you can see how there's still light accumulations across really the northern half of the state. A lot of that will be melting as it falls, but far northern Illinois, the grass might be covered for sure, and we'll have to continue to watch to see how that might play out in case there's any southward shift, because that might bring some of those accumulations in the far northern Illinois. So you can see how this is another model here. I'm kind of going through a bunch of them here. You can see how this one has heavy rain and storms across central and southern Illinois most of the night, and then that main push comes through tomorrow of rain, switching to snow. I'll switch it over, and then again flurries and snow showers pretty much all day on Wednesday. This is a rather aggressive look at it, I think, but you can kind of see how it keeps that low just sitting and spinning over the region for a few days. And there are differences on exactly where that low ends up, and that'll have an effect on how much it snows and where. But we'll keep watching that. But some areas, across northern Wisconsin into the UP of Michigan are going to see, probably upwards of 2 feet from this between the lake effect and the long duration synoptic snow. So definitely an interesting setup for what it is. We have severe weather ongoing, and then we have snow to talk about too. So let's see, not seeing any new comments here right now. Again, I'm using something called Restream here because I'm putting this on both Facebook and YouTube, so some of the comments might be filtered out here, so apologize if I've missed some of them. But again, it looks like a new severe thunderstorm watch was just issued here for parts of central Indiana here as this cluster begins to push into central Indiana. And they decided that to not go with the tornado watch here. And again, really, with all these storms here across central Illinois, they're very loud and very heavy rain producers, and there is some hail in them still, but really not seeing anything in terms of a tornado risk right now. That's not to say that something might change, especially along the southern edge of this towards the I-70 corridor, but right now not really seeing anything in the way of a tornado risk. This is kind of just a big blob of thunderstorms right now. Very heavy rain producers, definitely going to be some flooding across central Illinois tonight. And then again, further north, we're just going to see rain kind of just slowly fill in. You can kind of see it approaching Peoria and Bloomington right now. Moderate rain will fill in over the next hour, and then that will eventually spread north and east overnight, and it'll be another rainy night. Feels like a broken record, but it's been that way for quite a while now. See Brienne from Alaska. That's quite the move for Alaska to Kankakee County. That must be a little bit of a shock to the system. But as far as Kankakee County goes, I'm zooming in here on Kankakee County. Again, it's a pretty big county, of course, but all the activity is pushed out over Indiana right now, and these are, not much else really behind it except for some rain way far away, though. So there is going to be a bit of a break here across north central Illinois. except for these showers still ongoing along and north of I-88. But as for the next few hours, it'll be quiet, and even really the rest of the night, I would say it'll be quieter than it has been this afternoon and evening for sure. There might still be some embedded thunder tonight across really anywhere across northern Illinois, but as the night goes on, it'll transition into more of a just stratiform rain, and still some embedded thunder, but those really heavy thunderstorms are gonna be on the decrease as the night goes on. And after that last push, I do wonder if we'll see any redevelopment over the next few hours. Doesn't look like it right now, and I think we might have to wait until this area of rain pushes in here. You can see this is a big area of rain across Missouri, western Illinois, and Iowa. And this is going to just kind of very slowly push eastward here over the next few hours. I'm going to go back to what I was looking at here, and we'll take a look at how much rain we're actually expecting tonight. Because some areas, like I said, oh, come on. Nice if this would work. Some areas, like I said a little earlier, might see upwards of 4 to 5 inches tonight across central Illinois, where this is ongoing. So I'm going to go back here to that short range model we were looking at. So this has an okay handle on kind of the amount of rain and storms ongoing right now. So you can see how really just very heavy rain across central Illinois over the next few hours. So some of this is, already kind of falling, but the model kind of shows a widespread area of 2 to 4 inches between the I-70 to I-72 corridor. Then really that inch cutoff is kind of close to the I-74 corridor. So you can kind of see how that area of rain that we're looking at on the radar here is going to kind of push along I-74 and south, and that's where the heaviest rain and storms are going to be. But we're still expecting rain really, across the entire state tonight. Just it'll be lighter as you go further north. And this is, as we move throughout the night, you can see how it's more showery across northern Illinois as opposed to being, very heavy and thundery as you get further south. So that's what we're expecting. As far as rain mounts go across northern Illinois, probably another quarter inch, probably another 1/10 to quarter inch, give or take, overnight tonight. But then again, tomorrow, I'll go to, tomorrow, we're going to see probably another 1/2 inch to inch, maybe even a little more as that area of rain pushes through and changes to snow. So another wet day tomorrow, and then Wednesday we'll be looking at snow showers across most of the state. LaSalle County. So LaSalle County is very quiet right now. Here's LaSalle County right here, kind of in a hole of activity. We have, those showers to the north into the east, then we have that rain pushing in from the south, and then we do have some storms here across western Illinois. I would say, like I said, really across anywhere across northern Illinois. Definitely, it'll be more rain tonight for sure. But as the night goes on, thunderstorm activity will be on the decrease for sure. I would say at any time before midnight, still thunder possible, and even some small hail even possible, but that risk will be decreasing after midnight for sure. And it'll probably be a quieter night than what we've seen, at least for some of us. Some areas have seen more storms than others over the last few nights, but it'll be a quieter night for northern Illinois. But central and southern Illinois, it'll be a very loud night, unfortunately. But northern Illinois, again, this will eventually transition into a light to moderate rain with some embedded thunder overnight tonight. So no severe risk across northern Illinois outside of some small hail with any of these remaining storms that are able to develop. But again, this is really just going to be a rainy night across northern Illinois. Heavy rain across central Illinois, and then once you get south of the I-72 area, that's where you have that severe risk in place tonight. And again, really closer to the I-70 corridor, especially as we progress through the night. Any tornado risk would likely be closer to the I-70 corridor, but hail, even some embedded damaging winds possible between the I-72 to I-70 corridor. But again, I've said this many times, the biggest issue is going to be flooding, really between the I-72 to I-70. Really in between Interstate I-70 to I-72 is where we're going to have potentially, 2 to 4 inches of rain. Some areas might see 4 to 6 inches of rain tonight before it's all said and done, which is a lot. So hopefully, things. You see, we have a report here over Taylorville of flooding, and that is not going to be surprising. We had a report from a little over an hour ago of 1.5 inches from the Taylorville airport, and that's probably doubled since then, I would assume. And you can see how more just heavy thunderstorms are just going to continue over these same areas for several hours, and then you have more lined up across Missouri. So not a good situation in the Taylorville area to Sullivan to Arcola in terms of heavy rain, but I suppose you'd almost rather have flooding than tornadoes. And this really big cluster of rain and storms has lessened the tornado risk because there's so much rain. It's pushing out a lot of that instability with all the rain cooled air. So that's some good news, I guess, if you want to look for a silver lining. But see someone saying Rockford is boring tonight. Yeah, there's not much going on across far northern Illinois, and that's kind of gonna be the trend. The only action Rockford's going to see is snow tomorrow afternoon into Wednesday, so you have that to look forward to at least. But tonight, just some showers, maybe again some still embedded thunder, but a lot of this activity across central and southern Illinois is really taking the moisture away from northern Illinois. You can see just this huge area of rain and storms. It extends all the way from basically Indianapolis almost to north of Springfield, Missouri, and just a huge area. So as that moisture tries to move northward, it kind of gets robbed by all this activity going on. So that's why things are kind of quieting down across northern Illinois. We do still expect showers across northern Illinois tonight, but not anything exciting like what we're seeing across central Illinois. Heavy rain, flooding, all that stuff, like I said. Just doing a quick check to see if anything new is being reported here. Give me 1 second. All right, not seeing anything here in terms of new reports here. So again, Springfield, I see a lot of folks asking, and Springfield is really on the border of this more significant severe risk tonight. And you are still in, I would still say you're in the risk for severe storms tonight in the Springfield area, but more of a hail risk than anything else. Maybe even some damaging winds, but the hail risk is the biggest threat for the Springfield area, and heavy rain too. You might see 1 to 3 inches of rain across the Springfield area tonight. But tornado risk is quite low right now. There's just too much rain and things going on, unless you're closer down to the I-70 corridor here. Again, we'll have to watch any of these more discrete storms that are able to stay south of all this ongoing activity. But Springfield, just, moderate to heavy rain, probably some loud thunder at times, and then again, some embedded areas of hail too. And again, that's kind of going to be the case really across the I-72 corridor tonight. Heavy rain, thunder, maybe some hail, but the severe risk is really kind of south of this line here I'm going to draw. Really, that was kind of a messy line, but really south of that is where we're more concerned about severe, and especially into this area later on tonight. This area has, a more untapped atmosphere, more instability, and more wind shear that hasn't been disturbed from Vandalia to Effingham. So we'll have to watch that later this evening into the overnight hours. But again, really anywhere across central Illinois, it's just going to be a very rainy night, thundery, and again, some hail might be embedded in there. And then further north across northern Illinois from Ottawa, Morris, Joliet, Aurora, Chicago, just a showery night. We'll have to watch for, some claps of thunder, but no severe risk across northern Illinois. Outside of these little hail-producing storms we've had over the last hour that have since weakened and moved out. So again, not seeing anything too concerning anywhere right now other than the extremely heavy rain and flooding ongoing across central Illinois. So again, we're going to continue to watch this here. And then again, that severe risk tomorrow is something that we are going to have to very closely watch. I'm going to go back to this run here. So again, this is tonight, and then we clear out tomorrow morning. And you can see this area here of clearing across east central Illinois into Indiana. That's where we'll have to watch very closely, because as that cold front moves out of the St. Louis area, That's where you might have right here, just southeast of Champaign, where this model is showing it. And again, the location of where these storms develop is obviously very important, and that'll determine where the severe risk is. It's very possible that this is east of Illinois altogether, and it's into Indiana and Ohio, but we still have to watch this really far east central Illinois area for a very short window, but possibly serious window of severe storms tomorrow afternoon. Again, this does not include northern Illinois. This will be another rainy, maybe some embedded thunder across northern Illinois, and then eventually it'll be switching to snow tomorrow afternoon and evening. So that's something to look forward to. But again, the window for severe would probably be from about 11 a.m. to 1 to 2 p.m. before it moves off into Indiana. You can see right there, east central Illinois is the area that we're watching. Right here, really east of I-57 especially, and I would say south of I-72, south of I-74, I should say. And then especially into Indiana and Ohio. There's a chance that there could be numerous tornadoes in Indiana and Ohio tomorrow. But again, we'll have to watch to see if that risk includes far east central Illinois. We'll have to watch that very closely. And then again, that rain will change to snow showers across northern Illinois. And then eventually, pretty much the whole entire northern half of the state will see snow on Wednesday. So not an April Fool's joke. It's going to snow, but not a lot for most of us. But if you're across far northern Illinois, it could accumulate some, or I should say it will accumulate some tomorrow night into Wednesday. So, if you're in far northern Illinois into southern Wisconsin, you're going to see some snow. Really, most of us will see some snow at least, if not tomorrow evening it'll be Wednesday morning. But the good news is anything that does accumulate will not last long, as the sun is strong and it will melt quickly. But I think I'm gonna sign off here right now. We only have one severe thunderstorm warning that's about to expire, just for 60-mile-an-hour wind and quarter-size hail southeast of Champaign here. That's moving east, and the more intense storms are starting to move into Indiana here. But again, a lot of heavy rain, flooding, small hail, maybe even some not so small hail, but now this is not looking as crisp as it was when I started the stream a little over an hour ago. It's looking more of a blob of rain and storms, as opposed to a threatening area of potential severe weather. But again, we will still have to watch for at least an isolated severe risk here, especially close to the I-70 corridor. I think our biggest chance right now is this storm here that's about to cross across the Mississippi River here. Gonna go kind of follow the path that this last storm followed. We'll have to see if it dies as quick as the last one does. There is that bit of a hook signature here as it moves towards O'Fallon, and it's about to cross north of I-70 here in the St. Louis area. There is definitely some large hail in there. I think we have a report here. Someone reported small hail, but you can see how there is that hook feature right there. And that's where you do have a little bit of a area of rotation right there, but not tornado warned right now, as this is still in Missouri. If we look at velocity there, you can kind of see, it's kind of hard to see with the purple, that's where you have range folding, so you don't get a good reading there. But you can see there is a bit of a wind signature in there, but not as even strong as it was a few minutes ago. But we'll have to keep an eye on that as it moves northeast, but not seeing anything super imminent right now. It does look like, there is that supercell structure still there, but we'll have to watch it as it moves north and east, because there's a good chance that it just kind of joins the party here and becomes part of this huge area of rain and thunderstorms. But again, the main risk here is going to be flooding in between the I-70 to 72 corridor, at least for right now, but we'll still have to watch the severe risk here across south central and southern Illinois, and again, especially closer to the I-70 corridor where it's quiet right now. You can see how this area here, trailing area here of storms across central Missouri, this is kind of what's going to push eastward here in southern Illinois, probably in about 2 to 3 hours or so. And you see a pretty big tornado warning there in central Missouri, and that's what we'll have to watch for, as there's still a lot of wind shear across southern Illinois, and there's still a lot of instability, and we'll have to watch to see if these storms, as they move eastward, can take advantage of it. But again, where storms are ongoing right now across, north of the I-70 corridor, this is just going to continue to be a big heavy rain fest overnight tonight. There's going to be a lot of rain, a lot of lightning, a lot of thunder, but the severe risks should remain, closer to the I-70 corridor and south of there, hopefully. But again, we're still watching up to the Springfield to Champaign area, but we really should see that activity kind of push south throughout the night. I'm going to move one look over here. We do have some thunderstorms here close to the Illinois, Missouri, Iowa border. Quincy, you're seeing some rain right now, maybe some embedded thunder, and that'll continue. But again, that severe risk is really south of I-72, and then again a little bit more of a significant risk into the overnight hours along the I-70 corridor. So we'll continue to watch this closely. If any new warnings go in effect, we'll go live, and we'll have our normal live later tonight either way. But again, thanks for watching. I'll answer, I see another comment here asking about Taylorville. And if you're watching this from Taylorville, I don't have to tell you that it's probably flooding where you're at right now. I'll loop this here, and just for since I've been doing the stream, just heavy storms have been going over the Taylorville area here. And you see that little report here of someone reported looks like River Creek flooding. And then we had the airport measured 1.5 inches of rain in an hour, and like I said, I'm sure it's probably closer to 3 inches by now, and this is just going to continue. As far as the severe risk goes for Taylorville, tornadoes, I would say the risk is low, but you're still far enough south where you could see some large hail and maybe even some damaging winds. But just north of there, that severe risk decreases pretty quickly as you get towards Springfield, Decatur, and especially north of there. Really north of Springfield, Decatur, or north of the I-72 corridor, there's really not much of a severe risk tonight other than some small hail. But as you head south and get closer to the I-70 corridor, that severe risk will continue, and we will have to watch any storms that move into this environment along the I-70 corridor. But north along in the Taylorville, the Charleston area, this is really a heavy rain, heavy thunderstorm type night with some embedded hail. But as far as tornadoes go, the risk is rather low. But like I said, just south of there, closer to the I-70 corridor, there is still a tornado risk tonight for sure. So we will have to watch very closely. I'm just looking real quick to see if I have any new reports. Nope. But again, still watching a severe. I'm going to circle just real quick here the area that we're still concerned about severe weather. I'm going to go right just south of really this area here. This is what I would say. This whole area that I circled is where we're still worried about severe weather. North of there is more of a heavy rain, embedded, maybe some small hail embedded still, but more of a heavy rain risk. And again, between the I-70 to I-72, I can't speak, oh my goodness. Between the I-70 to I-72 corridors, potentially significant flooding risk over the next several hours into the overnight hours. Some areas could see over 5 inches of rain, especially near the Taylorville, just south and east of there in that area. So of course, if you have any reports, continue to send them to the page. I'll do one more look at northern Illinois here. You can see we do still have some of those showers ongoing. They're weaker now, but towards Rochelle and Oregon, we do have a couple stronger ones. If these continue eastward here, you might see another, maybe a couple instances of small hail again across the northwestern or northern suburbs over the next hour or so. But again, other than that, just expect a showery night. No severe across northern Illinois. No severe risk really anymore across most of central Illinois until you get to the I-72 corridor. And once you get south of there, you still have those heavy thunderstorms. But then once you get closer to the I-70 corridor, you have that overnight risk of storms ongoing. So again, thanks for watching. We'll go live again throughout the night as things change. But other than that, I'm going to sign off now. Again, thanks for watching, and feel free to send in any reports to the page throughout the night, and we will continue to provide updates as needed.